So I've seen a lot of people put a little bit too much emphasis or energy onto their credit scores. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down some different factors and a few different things that you should be looking at apart from just focusing on your credit score, and why the credit score doesn't always tell the full story, and why a credit score, or why you focusing on a credit score is actually holding you back from getting higher credit limits and better funding, either for yourself personally or for your business. So the purpose of this video is to not only educate you, but also guide you through some different steps and different actions that you can take along the way as you're building up your credit profile. So we're not only going to be covering personal, but we're also going to be covering business. So I'll let you know which one I'm using, because I don't want you to think that some of these are just interchangeable. Some of these vary specifically for the type of credit that you're looking to get. So first things first, it's not just about the 750. I've seen people get a 750 credit score and still get denied for the car that they wanted at the rate that they wanted it. I've seen people with a 670 credit score get big lines of credit, and you're probably wondering, okay, why is that? Why is it that someone with a 670 is able to get possibly a credit score, or really a higher credit limit, even though their credit score isn't as high as somebody that, again, is up in that 750, 760, even 770 range? And the first answer that we have to break down here is going to be their credit profile. You see, when it comes to your credit profile, it's not just about the score that you have. So think of it like this. You have your credit profile, and then you have your credit score. Your credit profile is like your report card. Your credit score is like the grade, right? But it doesn't always tell the full story. It's kind of like you were in class and there was that one person that was always cheating off of somebody else, but then when they went to go ask them about how they actually arrived to that number or how they actually arrived to that answer, they didn't necessarily know how. So maybe you had somebody that got a B, but that person was always studying. That person was always making sure that their assignments were in on time. And yes, they may not necessarily have the best grade, but for the most part, they have a good understanding of what the material is, of what was being taught. So think of it like this. So you're wondering, okay, what does this actually have to do with credit scores and credit profiles? This is where having a mix of credit comes into play. You see, it's not just about having, let's say, a credit card under your name. It's not just about having an auto loan, which is a really good example, under your name, because oftentimes you'll see whenever somebody, and this probably happened to you if you're watching this, and if this did, comment down below, yeah, that's actually happened to me in the past. No shame in that, right? We've all been there. All you had to your name was maybe a secured card and some type of auto loan, right? You went, you got yourself a car, and then after 4, maybe 5 years, you ended up paying it off. But then what ended up happening with the score, or what ends up happening with the score, is that that score plummets. And we can see a score plummet anywhere between 70 to 80 points, and sometimes even 100 points once that line of credit comes off. The reason for that is because there's no credit mix. You want to make sure that you don't just have credit cards and you don't just have an auto loan. You want to have some type of installment loan. You want to have you want to have not just secured cards, you want to have unsecured cards. And then you also want to have installment loans. And now we are on the subject of installment loans. Let's go ahead and break that down and go even a little bit deeper. You have installment loans, and then you have what's called revolving lines of credit. Let's break that down, because this is where it really gets good, especially if you are trying to get some of these higher levels of credit. When you have, let's say, a revolving line of credit, think of that kind of like a store card. Think of that kind of like a regular Best Buy card, right? A store card, maybe Macy's. Think of it maybe if you have some type of airline card, or even better yet, let's just talk about banks in general. If you're looking at a Barclays, if you're looking at a Chase, if maybe you have an Amex, if maybe you have a Citibank, all of these are revolving lines of credit, meaning that $1,000 worth of credit that you have, or that $5,000 or that $10,000, every month is going to report revolving, kind of like a revolving door, onto your credit report. But then you have what's called an installment loan. Installment loans are things like your student loans. Maybe if you are taking a loan to get some furniture, maybe you just bought a house, that's an installment loan. And then you also have an auto loan. Those are pretty much the more common ones that you kind of see out there. The good thing about having installment loans as well as having the revolving is that usually with the installment, those are higher. And so lenders like to see that, especially as you start going through some of the underwriting process. They like to see, okay, this person has been able to pay off their credit cards and their loans on time. But the issue with just having, kind of like what we just finished mentioning, is once you've made pretty much that final payment, that account is then closed out and that's it. Yes, it still reports positive, but you still want to have the revolving on the back end so that you don't see that big drop happen. Now, the third and final tip that I want to share with you in this video, and if you're finding value in this content, consider hitting the subscribe button down below if you haven't done so already, and hit that like button because it does help this content reach a larger audience. Is this: you don't just want to, let's say, apply for a credit card immediately. There is, I'd say, a method. There is almost like a system that you want to follow. And obviously, it'll be way too long for us to cover it in this video. But part of that is you want to kind of date. You want to kind of court some of these credit card companies, some of these banks. What do I mean by that? When you go and you apply, or before you apply for some of these credit cards, you want to open up a bank account. And if you, let's say, want to have a business line of credit with some of these credit cards, you want to open a business bank account with some of these. I know that with Wells Fargo specifically, they like to see, especially if you're going to ask for a higher credit limit, they want to see that, yeah, you've been banking with us for a couple months now. Same thing if maybe you're going with Navy Federal. They want to see that you've been banking with them for some time now. This is important because it establishes trust in a relationship between you and the bank. It's not just a one and done deal, kind of like looking at that person at the bar and you wanting to take them out, right? No. You kind of want to, you kind of want to serenade. You kind of want to set the tone. You kind of want to let them know, hey, look, I'm here to stay. I'm here for this partnership. I'm here to be with you, right? It's me and you in the long run. I'm here to do business with you, kind of like you would with the business partner. It's not just a one and done transaction. Now for this right here, you can use this either for your business or you can use this for your personal lines of credit. Having that relationship established also creates that trust on the back end where it lets the bank know, okay, this person has been, let's say, depositing X amount of dollars, let's say $1,000 every 2 weeks into this bank account. They've even been using this bank account to pay off some of their bills, which, by the way, in some of the algorithms that these banks use, that's also thrown into the algorithm. So it's not just the credit score, it's also how are you paying your bills. And if you've been paying your bills automated, let's say through Wells Fargo or let's say Navy Federal, you've been paying your utility bills through us, maybe another credit union that we haven't mentioned in this video. They're going to take a look at all of that, and it's going to establish kind of, again, that relationship, that trust between you and the bank that you are trying to get these higher credit limits for. So remember, it's not just about the credit score. It's about the credit profile and the relationship that you have with your banks. This is why that 750, that 760 doesn't always tell the full story. So there you have it. If you enjoyed this content, consider hitting the subscribe button down below. Join the official community. If you are looking to fix your credit, we have some DIY kits over on the irvofficial.com website. You can find the link to that down in the description, where again, you can take care of your credit yourself using some of the methods that some of these big credit card companies and some of these big credit card repair companies don't want you to know. So if you want that, go ahead and go check that out right now. And anytime we're not posting on here, we are posting over on the Inside with Irv Show, which is our podcast style channel. So if you like what we have going on over here, you'll love what we have going on over there. Once again, I appreciate you guys watching. Until next time, everyone, I will see you in the next video.